I've always loved singing from the time I was tiny, and the human voice has always been the most sacred instrument to me. And when I was little, I would sing all the time in church and community theater. And by the time I got to high school, I was noticing something really troubling. And that was that the more other people outside of me were saying, like, yes, that sounds great, like, for fellow musical theater nerds out there, like when I could like wail on the narrator and Joseph, and also like float in like Lily in the Secret Garden. um, the more that people were like, yes, that's what the sound should be, that's wonderful, the less connected to my own body and my own truth I felt. And I lost my voice so often. I had vocal nodes in high school, actually, and had to take a several-month break from singing entirely. And in high school and in undergrad, I got to work with some wonderful teachers who are humans that I have deep respect for. And I have deep respect for all of the traditions that I've gotten to study, which the first 25 years of my life were mostly more traditional musical theater and opera training. And while I have respect for those traditions, I also sit with what does what do those techniques serve, or what are they built for? And so I also hold that correct singing in certain ways, or certain exercises to lead to like a certain kind of what someone should sound like, which has to do with gendered presumptions of what voices should sound like, but also some colonized assumptions of what voices should sound like. um, when I sit with that, I feel a little bit like, kind of, no wonder I was losing my voice. Like, certainly part of it has to do with transness, um, but also beyond. And so I felt in my early 20s, and that was like 15 years ago now, that I guess singing is not for me. Even though it had always been such a home base for me, I was like, I guess it's not for me. If when I do it, I lose my voice all the time, or if when I do it, what people like isn't the thing that feels real to me, then I guess singing isn't for me. And so I, for about 6 years, didn't sing much at all. And then, in the context of when Occupy Wall Street happened, I connected to singing in the streets, to singing in the context of direct action and civil disobedience, and some more singing in ritual and community gatherings. And I found that I could sing and chant loudly in the context of a march for hours and not lose my voice. I was sitting with this very different experience and different resilience that I was feeling in my voice than I had ever felt before. And this really tender sense of like, oh, maybe singing can be open to me again. And so as I was sitting with what was working for me, and as I was getting to work in a kind of peer-to-peer way with some singers who were trained in more body-based singing techniques, including Roy Hart technique, um, I began to develop tools and perspectives, and offer them, mostly in the context of singing for activists, like strengthening voices for singing in the streets, from my deep belief that our collective liberation needs all of our voices, and especially those that have most often been silenced or told that they should sound a certain way. And I also really believe in amplifying the voice of justice, not only in loudness for sure, but not only in loudness, also in beauty. And so I would offer these workshops, often called like singing for literally everybody, or singing for the exceptionally terrified, and from tools rooted in ways that every human makes sound anyway: yawning, laughing. And from this place of, what are the wisdoms that each human already has about freedom and ease and power vocally? And then how does that bridge to song? And so everything I offer is rooted in that. And just from a deep, deep passion about how much we need every voice.